This industry is broken.
That's fair too.
I don't know if we should say that in the shop, but yeah. Well, do we do the intro? Do you do the intro?
Hey everybody, thanks for coming. My name is Jacob. I run Fantom Comics here in DuPont Circle. We're very honored to have a longtime friend of the store, Jamie Noguchi, along with acclaimed cartoonist Danielle Corsetto.
I'm acclaimed.
Acclaimed.
You have a Harvey.
No, I guess I kind of. I have a Reuben.
You have a Reuben. You have a Reuben and a Harvey.
I didn't. A bunch of people.
Wait, you have an Eisner.
No, I don't.
Weren't you nominated?
No.
Something you worked on was
You'd
nominated.
remember better than I would.
All my friends are more impressive than me.
Jamie did the window wrap outside our store here, as well as you did the flash in the sterile, right?
Yes, the flash and sci-fi.
Yeah. So I don't know. I feel like Jamie has been kind of part of our scene occurred. Yeah, like. Yeah. Was it how did you first connect with us? Was it Esther?
I met you guys late in Fantom's existence, but I met Esther at Awesome Con, and then she was like, "Hey, we need to make the shop pretty. Do you want to draw something in the walls?" And I was like, "Yes." And so that's how I met you guys. But it was like Awesome Con 1,
The first ever Awesome Con.
the first ever.
Was that like
the Dark Ages, the before time.
2013 or 14? Yeah. And we're second over, getting close to a decade. It's over a decade.
Oh my god.
Cool. So.
Well, welcome everybody.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming. Danielle and I have never done one of these before, so I was just gonna interview her about her work.
I was gonna start off by explaining that Jamie is a very good old friend of mine. I want to explain how we know each other, but because I feel like we've already got over that with some people. However, I have not read either of these books. Jamie invited me to do this, and I was like, Jamie, I gotta be real with you. I don't really read sci-fi, and I haven't read your books. I'm just the ones that you put on Patreon are just the images, right? They're not. I don't think you have the dialogue in there.
I posted the script with like the completed pages when I was doing the inks.
Was it just the script with like just letters and words?
Yes. Yes.
Then I did not look at it. If it's not a picture book, I'm not looking at it.
So you've seen the artwork, but you haven't seen the.
I haven't actually read it.
You haven't read it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which, to be fair, I haven't even met your writer. I don't care about him, so it's fine. It's
Jeremy
exactly.
Whitley's kind of a friend of the store too.
She's probably great then. I should meet him.
Jeremy's awesome. He's done stuff for Marvel and like
Yeah.
he got his start with Princeless.
Oh, okay. That's really funny. I have read his books. I read Princeless.
You know, Princess is willing to like. You should know what you show like Action Lab.
What's that?
I think they don't exist anymore.
Oh, that's good. I thought you said I had a crush on him at SPX, and I was like, "Geez, how do you know that?"
Yeah. There's
this
controversy with
Yeah.
Action Lab.
Yeah.
And that.
I vaguely remember that.
Yeah. But yeah, if you like Princeless, you'll love this stuff because I feel like Jeremy's work has a certain ethos to it, and like this fits in nicely with his body of work.
Well, you sold me. Maybe I'm gonna buy a book from you today. But this puts me in a good position because now I can ask Jamie. Has anybody? Can I see? You guys can't see on the screen, but there are so many people in here. They're just so respectful and quiet. Could you guys raise your hand if you have read either of these books yet? Okay. Oh, great. Okay, cool.
Nice.
And if you have not, then that's everybody else, right? Okay. So I want to ask you, first of all, I think I overheard you kind of giving an answer, but what age range is this generally for? Because it looks like it's friendly to young kids, but I don't know.
I think the way you categorize it in the book, it's like middle school age, YA. I don't know how they categorize books, but it's like it's YA, middle school age. But you know they've read it.
Yeah, Hazel, have you read it? Oh, she's reading it right now.
She read the first one when she was
Yeah.
5.
Sweet.
Yeah. So
6?
yeah.
Perfect.
So it skews to like the YA crowd. I feel like elementary school kids could get into it, but there might be like some relationship themes that they wouldn't necessarily understand right away
about,
or
probably.
give a crap
Yeah.
about but it has aliens and monsters, which is cool. So yeah, and spaceships.
I won't know what any of these are if you say them, but can you give some other books that maybe are like in the same genre? Like if you like this, you might like our book.
That's a very good question.
The X-Men in 1989.
Oh, thank you. There we go.
Yeah, that's a good question. When we're working on these things, I don't know, Jeremy might be more cognizant of where it fits in with all the other comics, but when I'm drawing it, I don't have a sense of where it should fit.
True.
Which I guess is a weakness on my part.
Leave something here they created.
Yeah.
How did you connect with Jeremy in the first place to start doing these books?
So I went to an American Library Association, an ALA conference. They do one regionally, and every year it changes to a different region. They did one in Florida. I had friends who talked about ALA, that they had a great time at ALA. Table fee was basically you donate artwork and you get a table, which is the cheapest fucking table I've ever heard of at any show ever. So I was like, I'll try it out. It's a flight to Florida. It's not that big a deal. I'll just stay in someone's house, Airbnb it. And I made no money the entire weekend. It was an awful experience, tabling wise. But Jeremy was there with his daughter at the time, and she kind of adopted me. So she would be like drawing stuff and handing out her comics to people. And it was great having a table partner who just didn't give a crap. She was just drawing her own stories and talking to people as they were coming by. And I was like, this is great. I don't care that I'm not doing well at this show at all. I'm not making any contacts, but I met this awesome girl. I met her father, which is Jeremy. And after that show, we just kind of kept in touch with each other online. And he was like, we should do a thing. And so he sent me some ideas for projects, and the School for Extraterrestrial Girls, I latched onto that because Hazel was, geez, I don't remember how old she was. Real little, but I wanted to do something that like she could relate to later as she got older.
Yeah.
And so it was originally called like Miss Something School for Extraterrestrial. Like there was a longer title for it, and then when we started pitching it, it got shortened. So yeah.
Extraterrestrial's already way too long to word.
Yeah. So that's how I met Jeremy.
So can we go back for a second? Yeah, the book you were trying to sell people at ALA was Yellow Peril.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
That was the first thing I ever read by you.
Yeah. It was my office romance comedy, and it's The Office, but with Asian people or non-white people. And that was my pitch, and I was like,
nice.
I figured librarians would get into it, but
Title might have sunk you on that one.
yeah.
I know.
Yeah. Yeah. So I was trying to pitch it down there. But ALA was really cool. Like, I got to see what the industry looked like in terms of how comics were being integrated into traditional publishing. And that was really insightful because all the imprints had their sub-imprint for graphic novels or that kind of stuff. So it was really exciting. It was a really exciting time. I didn't make any money, but I got really excited about trying to find a YA project. So when Jeremy contacted me, I was like, we're going with this one. It's going to be great. And it took us a long time to find a publisher.
Yeah.
But yeah, so.
What was the process so you're published by Paper Cuts.
Yeah.
How'd you find them, or did Jeremy find them?
Jeremy found them.
Okay.
We put a pitch packet together. He did an outline, and I did 3 color pages. There's a scene in the first, is this the first book? Yeah. There's a scene in the first book where Tara discovers that she's an alien for the very first time, and she wakes up in this like this jail cell with one of their the headmaster there. And so we did that scene, 3 pages. Is the fastest I've ever done it. Like I did it in a week.
Nice.
That has never occurred since. This took a lot longer than that. But the pitch came together really quickly. Jeremy sent it out to some of the people he knew in publishing, asking if they had any interest. Rejection. He landed a literary agent for his stuff. I don't know how he did that. I would like to know how he did that because I feel like all of us.
Yeah.
Do you have an agent?
No, sure don't.
Monica has an agent.
Yeah, she does. I can ask her.
Yeah. But once he landed an agent, things started happening. Like we did get a couple more rejections, but it was from like higher tier publishers.
Yeah.
And then we finally landed with Paper Cuts, and they were really excited about it. And so that's
Cool.
how that happened. But it was weird. Like, I've been doing my own comic for a while.
This is Yellow Peril.
Yellow Barrel. And it had a following, but it never really kind of took off. And so I was feeling really shitty about comics in general. Like, I felt like I wasn't getting anywhere. And I did a couple of pitches for other publishers that just, went nowhere. This was sort of like the last ditch effort. I mean, I probably would, like we said in the car, like, we'll still draw comics even if we're not doing it.
What else are we gonna do?
Yeah, what else are we gonna do? But it was kind of like my last ditch effort before I decided to maybe try something else.
Yeah, sure.
So it just worked out.
I'm glad it worked out.
Yeah.
And a second book. How many books are gonna be in this?
It's 3.
Yay.
So I'm currently working on the third one. So I forget what happened in this one.
That makes sense.
It's like I'm in the middle, like, you read the book and then you read it again and then you do thumbnails and then you draw it again and then you draw it again and draw it. So like I'm in the middle of that process and I forget what happened in there, just like I forgot what happened in there last. So.
Oh, I feel like now we have something in common.
Yeah.
Forgetting
So it's
things a
all
lot.
new.
It's so exciting. I can't wait for you to reread your book and find out what happened.
Yes.
Sometime.
Yeah.
So right now, is the third story already written? The script is completely finished?
Third, the script is complete. I'm currently working on thumbnails. Once those are done, we'll send it off to the editor.
Okay.
They'll take a look, final comments, and then off to the races.
Cool. Is this, should we just talk about
Yeah, yeah.
it? Or
Yeah.
I actually don't know how people work when they have another writer or a publisher or
Oh.
an agent or any of that.
So you've never worked for like a traditional publisher?
That's not true. I did 3 Adventure Time graphic novels.
Right.
So, but those were, it just went boom. So let's just say that the deadlines were ridiculous. I wrote each of those books in a month.
Oh my God.
While teaching a college class for the first time and doing Girls with Slingshots full time.
Oh my God.
One of those, like, may as well just do everything at once and not have any friends for a little while and then come back afterwards.
So I know how to draw stuff. What's the process for writing things? Do you just kind of like barf it out and then cut?
It's an Adventure Time, so you can go anywhere with it.
Mm-hmm.
And I was literally getting paid to write fan fiction of my favorite TV series. Like, it's the dream, right? And I was like, I don't know, I'm doing but I think I just went really fast with, like, I did the pitch, and actually the first one they were like, go ahead and just go ahead and start. We'll let you know whether or not they say okay to it. I'm like, I'm gonna wait until they say okay to it. And it's good because very last minute Penware was like, "Man, do something different with those characters," and she was like, "Could you actually write it like that, but like with completely different characters?" I'm like, "No, but I will have you a new script by the end of the week." Oh my god,
That's wild. Do you thumbnail while you're writing a script for someone else?
Yeah. So okay,
Oh, okay.
Everybody, this is why I'm also interested. Does Jerry draw?
No.
Okay.
Not at all.
So when you get scripts, is it? I think everybody works differently together. This is always, I get a lot of questions about this, even though I barely worked with other people.
Yeah.
Like how do people work together like this? For Adventure Time, I didn't even know who the artists were gonna be each time.
Oh.
And so I was like, I can't even work towards their strengths. So I'm just gonna I am gonna do what I do for my own scripts and draw things out, just like thumbnail them.
Oh, wow.
In certain places whenever something seems a little convoluted, or if I'm like, it'd be easier to draw this than to try to write it. And also
yeah.
it's boring to read without pictures, as I explained earlier. So but I don't know how, like, is it a horrible burden to have to read without any
No. So the way the scripts come in, it's screenplay format. So it's written like a screenplay, like action, person, then dialogue, person dialogue, person dialogue. So it reads like a movie script, which is great. So it puts you in the headspace of like seeing these scenes play out like a movie.
Cool.
But before the book starts, Jeremy always says like, "What do you want to draw? What do you want to draw?"
Oh, that's nice.
So for the first book, it was like we had ideas for different types of characters. Tara is a fire lizard, pretty cool. Misako is a fairy, so basic archetypes. And then he wanted a cat girl that was like Garfield. And I wanted to stay as far away from the anime stereotype of a cat girl as possible, like with the giant tits and like the nya stuff. So that was the goal with designing those two. And then I said, well, we should have a tentacle monster, but she should be like super adorable and like really cute instead of Legend of the Overfiend style. Like
This is my introduction to anime. We just went over this on the
So those were our ideas for some of the characters. We hashed them out, spent some time working on names, and then he already had like the plot outline, and then was off to the races. And for book 2, same thing. Before we started, he was like, what kind of stuff do you want to draw? And I was like, I want to draw giant robots, kaiju, Super Sentai, Power Ranger, Tokusatsu, Kamen Rider, all that bullshit, because I would like to work in that genre at some point.
Good call.
So now we'll have like publishers, see, I can draw kaiju.
Look at you building your portfolio on the job. Perfect.
And so Jeremy will send me the script. If he has some questions about stuff, like there's some, Masako grew up as a Asian American, and so he had some questions about like some cultural stuff. So we'll talk that out. And then he has sensitivity readers that he likes to work with, to just make sure that stuff he writes isn't gonna be problematic or anything like that. And then once the publisher editor goes through the script, approves it, then it comes to me, and then they just let me go. And there should be a deadline, but this one took a little long to put together because it started in the middle of the pandemic, and
that's all you have to say.
Yeah.
I think.
Shit was great.
And you have a kid. Like, I feel like that also adds to pandemic.
But yeah, so that's how it works. And then once the artwork is completed, sent back to the publisher, they come back with corrections, and there's some back and forth. We don't actually see the lettering until they sent out the it's called an ARC, an ARC, Advanced Reader Copy.
Oh yeah, okay.
So they send that out to potential reviewers. And the ARC for this was missing the color layers on some of the pages, and I had a fucking heart attack.
Wait, were they just black and white, or were they like?
They were flats. So when they come in as flats, sometimes the colors are wildly different than what they're supposed to be. So like hair that's supposed to be brown will be bright pink, because the flatter's job is only to separate objects by straight color. And then my job is to go in and shade it and all that stuff. But you keep the flats just so you can make your selections and separate.
Oh my God. We haven't talked about this. I wanted to, because we were at SPX together, we're sitting next to each other, and it was masked, which is great. However, like we could not converse really.
Yeah.
Because you have a flatter, and how much do you like coloring?
I love coloring.
Oh damn it! Okay,
I love coloring.
I fucking hate it.
I love coloring.
So much.
The coloring, the coloring took way less time than the rest of it.
Nice.
I mean, I love the whole process, but coloring is awesome.
You can tell that he loves color. I don't know, like you have to at least like flip through this because it's so pretty. It printed so beautifully, but it just looks so nice in general. Like you've colored professionally in the past.
Yeah, I got my start as a colorist with Udon, doing books and stuff. So
Nice.
I did all the books that no one wanted to do.
Yeah.
So like I never got to work on Street Fighter, but I did like some stuff that they did for Leapfrog.
Yeah.
And
No Dark Soccer.
no, I didn't get to do any Dark Soccer.
Dark side.
I didn't get to do the cool projects, but I did all the projects that paid the bills.
Yeah.
So, but I got my start as a colorist, so I really enjoyed that process.
Wow. When you were coloring for them, were you doing the full rendering? You were just flatting? I doing the whole thing.
The whole thing,
Okay.
from flats to all the rest of it. And then after I quit, I learned that people actually paid flatters, and I was like,
Maybe I should flat. I love that part. I'm like having the best time doing that, and then it suddenly is like, now you have to make decisions.
you get $20 a page.
That's it?
It's not a good job.
Oh my God.
Flatting is terrible. That's why you hire someone else to do it. Yeah.
Jeez. I enjoy it.
Yeah, you can make $20 a page.
I wouldn't do it for $20 a page though. I don't enjoy it that much.
It's not a good rate. This industry is broken.
That's fair too.
I don't know if we should say that in
Cut
the
that
shop, but yeah. But yeah, you can get that job. You get paid
Moving
well.
up in the world. I can't wait to get my flatting rate.
And sometimes flatters don't get credited.
I imagine they don't. Yeah.
I made damn sure that my flatters on both of these books got credit.
Cool. Hold on, I'm gonna look for it.
They are my color assistants because the flatting makes the process go.
Last, but yeah, nice. Okay, sweet. Oh, now I want to sit here and read those. There's so much. Did anybody here see the like video that Paper Cuts put out for this book?
Oh, can we?
Whoa, look at
It's
how
a video.
fancy you guys are. Yeah, we should definitely show it. It's freaking beautiful.
Oh my gosh. Can we have like a Kamen Rider club where I show Kamen Rider?
I mean,
Every week.
Yes. Yes.
we've been showing all sorts of random stuff here lately.
Cool.
Oh, that's true. I did. Yeah. Well, where my Godzilla's here?
Is the remote for the thing over there? I kind of thought that I had it already. Cool. This is so cool. I think I can still control it just with my thumb.
That's amazing.
The other thing that is new for me is that our publisher is doing like a marketing push, and the first book came out in the middle of the pandemic, so me and Jeremy didn't get to go anywhere or do anything or do any appearances or signings or anything like that. So it'll be interesting to see how this book is received in the wild, because book one kind of threw it out there into the ether, and
Yeah.
we don't know. So
Yeah.
I like that a little fun.
I know, it's so cute.
And that was a really cool video. The production quality on the book, I feel like book trailers could be kind of a very hit or miss thing.
Yeah.
It's very embarrassing.
But the music, I don't know if there's just like some public domain music or if they recorded something. But yeah, good. They have little sound effects.
Yeah.
Like get in the shower, they have little showers.
Yeah, there's like sound of like crowds in the background
It
and extra
wasn't
things.
just like here's slow pan over panel and here's slow pan over panel.
Yeah, whoever they hired did a great job. It's wild because you have to do those things yourself.
Yeah.
When you're in, like, when I was doing webcomics, I used to have to do all the ad shit for myself and
Yeah.
the layout stuff for myself, and it's better with a publisher. It's better.
real nice.
Yeah, it's better when someone else does that grunt work, because
Yeah.
then you have someone else to yell at if it's wrong.
Just the promotion part is such a bore.
Yeah. What do you do for like promo stuff now that social media is a vast wasteland of awfulness.
I have the readers from Girls with Slingshots that have stuck by me that are still there, like holding me up, and that's. I mean, occasionally I think like word of mouth I'll get other people, but that's pretty much it. Actually, at this point, now some of my former readers from Girls with Slingshots who started a long time ago, their kids are reading it. So luckily, we just had a studio tour where like people are just coming to my house and like looking around. And this one gal, I just saw her recently. Actually, she teaches at Shepherd, and she came in with her daughter who's like 14, I think.
Oh wow!
And I think her daughter's looking through things. She's like, "Oh, Mom, this." And I was like, "Oh, did you share it with her?" She's like, "Oh yeah, I've been reading since 3rd grade." Ooh. I was like, "No." Her mom was like, "Yeah, I read it along with her. I figured when she started reading it, I was like, well, okay, we'll educate you on some things then."
that is one of the books I haven't given to Hazel just yet.
Yeah, that's not necessary for a while still.
Even though there is a character named Hazel.
You don't want that to be a roll on anywhere for her, so.
No.
Jeez, but yeah, all that's her own
so
shit, right?
It's still word of mouth like it was like.
Yeah, well, and I'm also going through the second rerun of Girls with Slingshots online.
Oh yeah.
People are still reading that there too. I still have a pretty good readership there. So if I make announcements, it's like to my own website. I didn't even do anything for Twitter for like this or anything else that I've done recently. My own website, my own newsletter that I have plenty of people on that. Instagram because it's visual and I vaguely understand it.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it. Just like spreading the word around, seeing if other like powerhouse cartoonists can kind of mention if it's something big like a new book, seeing if other people who have the same kind of readership would promote it a little bit. That's it. Yeah. Publisher sounds like they could be sweet.
Yeah.
It sounds like Jamie has a good situation because I feel like I talked to a lot of other published artists who, I mean, big published artists, like people who have been around in the industry for 10 or 15 years and doing really, really big work.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, this publisher isn't even going to promote this next book that I have come out.
That's always disappointing.
Yeah. What are they paying for?
Yeah.
What are they taking a cut for?
Yeah. Why are they taking a cut? And it's hard enough to produce the work, to also then have to transition into promo brain. Yeah. Which none of us have a background in. Like I don't know shit about advertising or marketing.
You said that with paper cuts this time, you actually have like marketing meetings.
Yeah. The book. Like the book was done, pages were done, and they're like, all right, we're scheduling a marketing meeting. Here's our plan for what's coming next. And me and Jeremy were like, nah. What? Because Jeremy's worked with like Marvel, and I figured that would be the same thing for every book that Marvel puts out. Nuh-uh. So we feel very well taken care of. Not to blow smoke up their ass, but like we feel very well taken care of, and you know they've been very supportive of both the first book and then this one. So yeah, I mean, we're really lucky.
Can I go back to coloring?
Yeah.
I'm just gonna ask you like dumb art questions.
Yeah.
But what do you use to color with?
I color Photoshop.
Okay.
In Photoshop.
Same.
I'm sad, but yeah.
Actually, that was pretty much the end of my question.
Okay.
About coloring, because I was hoping you'd be like, this great program. I'd be like, oh, cool. Tell me all about that.
No,
it's still Photoshop. We're still Photoshop.
Photoshop has been the industry standard. I do most of my inking work in Clip Studio.
Okay.
Because the default brushes are just superior for what I need, and they didn't have to hire another motherfucker to develop brushes for them like Adobe did. Like Kyle Webster. Kyle Webster made his whole entire career making high quality brushes for Adobe, and they were like, well, we suck at our own engine, we'll just hire you to do it. And so they hired him. And though there's only one reason why I use Photoshop other than Clip Studio. There is a function with the lasso tool. This is very, very technical.
This is what you're all here for, right?
Yeah.
Good. Yeah.
Okay, so there's two types of lasso tools. There's the polygon lasso where you click, 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 and it makes, follows a straight line, or the freehand where you draw a thingy and it'll follow you along. In Photoshop, you can instantly switch between the two as you're using the lasso.
This is a good reason.
So if I'm drawing in the freehand lasso and all of a sudden I come to a section that it's like a long straight line, I can hold down the Alt key and it turns my freehand lasso into the polygon lasso, and then take the hand off the Alt key and finish it.
Now I just realized is that I was like, yeah, I know that. I can't tell if I know that and use it, and I just don't remember, or if I didn't know that and now I should go home and try it.
You should try it.
Yeah.
It's a life changing, and it's the only reason I use Photoshop.
Makes sense.
It's the only, and it's stupid, but it is the only reason I use I pay the Creative Cloud subscription to use this one fucking function in Photoshop.
The lasso, switching between the lasso tools is worth $10.99 a month.
No.
Wait, is that how much you're paying? Please tell
No.
me.
I'm paying more than
you're doing the whole thing?
the Creative Cloud
Wait, why are
subscription.
you doing the whole thing?
Because
Do you use the other ones?
I use everything.
Oh, okay. Well, that's a good reason. Okay.
But yeah, the Photoshop, I use that for coloring. Also because the camera raw filter works on your other images.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Jimmy's a fantastic photographer as well.
Well, but you can
Filmer.
you can use.
Is that what you're talking about?
No. You can use the same filters. Like if you need to do color correction, you can treat your image like a photograph. So you use the camera raw filter in Photoshop. You can change the levels. You can add grain. You can give lens distortion to make it look more.
Shit.
Yeah. So that's the other reason
That's a good reason too.
to use Photoshop. Okay. So I lied. I used two things in Photoshop: a lasso tool and a camera raw filter.
It's good.
But yeah, Adobe kind of has a chokehold on us, and their march towards the generative AI stuff
Yeah.
is very disappointing.
Right. It's hard.
There was even a report that like internally people working at Adobe were worried that like the push to AI is gonna put some of their clients out of business, but then they keep doing it. So who cares? Who cares if they think it's going to ruin us?
Get off
They
this
keep
roller
doing it.
coaster.
Yeah.
I already started it.
Yeah. So color.
Should we take some questions
Yeah,
from anybody
are there
in the
any
groups that would like to ask some questions? Jacob?
Hey, what's up? I just wanted to know, would you say that between your other comics and the School for Extraterrestrial Girls, do you feel like you're just doing your natural art style, or do you feel like you're aiming for something specific for the audience and for what the book is?
I've thought about that. Like there are always, people on YouTube saying like, how to discover your art style. This is your art style. How to do it. And I honestly don't know what my art style is. I just draw to the work and what Jeremy puts out in the images that come in my head. So I try my best to match what I see on the paper. If that makes sense.
Yeah, well, you talked about wanting to do the Super Sentai stuff, and so you can see in the book, there's definitely a bunch of that there.
Yeah.
So it's like you're getting to draw the things that you want to be drawing.
Yeah. The way it works with Jeremy, he's very hands off. Like, I have worked with other writers who are very specific with like things that they want to see per panel and per page and all that kind of stuff. And with Jeremy, it's just like, if I think something weird can fit in the corner here, I'll draw it in, and then he'll get the page back. He'll be like, "Oh, I didn't expect that. That's pretty cool."
Wait, do you do the layouts?
Yeah. Two of my friends, I have them making out in both books in the background. I forget which page in here. I forget which page is in there. But if you see two women like sucking face in the background, yeah, those are my friends.
Still.
Yeah.
Well,
So that's the one Easter egg that's going to be in all of the books. I'm trying to figure out how to fit them in the third.
Everything you do.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I haven't altered my style. I've just been trying to improve the readability of my stuff, and I'm not like Jim Lee, who can draw everything the same in every book, where like it's exact, like the artwork in this book and the artwork in that book are completely different. Like to me, it looks like two different people drawing it. But
Do you feel like this is your progression? Artists are getting more familiar with the characters and stuff.
yeah, and refining my process,
Yeah.
adding different stuff. There's a lot more 3D work in this one than in this one. Just because there were like more sci-fi interiors, and I was like, oh, this will be good for like so many panels, but in some panels.
Working with the publisher, was the process for doing the second one anything different than the first? Because I think when you do the first book, I'm sure a lot of it is just like establishing what all the characters look like, what's the basic format of it, but then you already have that figured out for the second one. So does that mean it's easier, or does that mean they give you tighter deadlines than before?
They were very. I let them know that like I was having problems with like getting things done on time. So they were very understanding and very willing to work with me on giving me the time I needed to finish the book. So I'm very thankful for that. They've been pretty good about like just when I tell them that like I can't hit it here, or like I'm not going to be able to make it there. They've been very willing to like adjust things to fit me. So that's been very nice. I like there were days when I thought like this isn't done yet, they're gonna fire me, and they're like no, we just let us know how far you are and how long you think it'll take.
Plus that is most publishers, they just want to know, like
they just want to know,
make sure that things are still going to happen.
So they were very good about that.
Did you see any changes when Matt took over from MBM?
Yes. Like I said, we had that marketing meeting, which was wild. I figured we didn't have that type of stuff. This book came out like in the height of shutdown, so no one was going anywhere anyway. So I don't know if the previous owner would have done something similar, but they didn't. So it's like for book 2, that was like a big change for us. So, like,
The editorial process hasn't changed.
Editorial hasn't really. They've been pretty hands off. Aside from like making suggestions for the script, since it's a creator-owned book, they've been pretty hands off. Like they haven't told Jeremy to like rewrite an entire section and make sure these characters are doing this, or this is a fan favorite character, we need this person in all of these scenes. They haven't done anything like that, so they've been pretty hands off for both books. Yep.
So when you guys did the original deal, was it like 4 or 3 books, or was there some like this book has to sell and then we'll get to the
it was pitched as a set. Like we were always aiming for 3, so and they were like, yeah, let's do it. So there were no conditions on it. They were just like, here's the deal, go for it.
Nice.
And how long did it take you? Like, how long has the process taken you for the art?
That one took 3 years.
So you must have another job.
I did, and then I didn't. Like I had another job in between, and then I was convinced not to.
Interesting.
She was like, stop messing around, get this done, So it helps to have a partner who has a real job. Because this would have been 6 years. Or it would have looked way more bobo.
Oh, yeah.
There would have been more lighting tricks, like, this is all black and white on this page.
What are you aiming for in the third book? What's your...
I don't know. It's 140 pages, so it's a little bit longer than this one. I'm currently thumbnailing. I'm like 3/4 of the way done, and then I would like to get it done in a year. We'll see how that goes.
Wait, really?
Or you go from 3 years to 1 year?
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we're still in we're still in the pandemic, but we're not in the pandemic. So like emotionally, I'm not in the pandemic. So hopefully, I will be able to draw at a more steady pace than before.
Cool.
We'll see. 1.5 years probably. It'll probably be 1.5 years. But I'm also trying to force myself to draw less, and that's hard to do.
Yeah.
What do you mean by that?
Yeah, what do you mean by that?
Well,
No chicken fat.
well, so
Are we talking economy of line? Or are we talking...
draw less stuff in the frame.
Oh, are you talking like, this doesn't need a background and therefore I'm not going to put a background finally?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a really, really good idea.
Yeah, like self-editing. Like, so I wanted to put as much crap in each frame as possible here, because I
That one
want...
specific. Okay, no.
Yeah, because I want to just feel more like a lived-in space. And I've been forcing myself to watch a lot of anime where it's all about shortcuts. It's all about like, cutting shit out, making things more efficient. And I'm trying to like internalize that because I did spend a lot of time on the inks, making sure that like every scene had a whole bunch of shit in there. The scenes were framed well, like there was proportionally, like there was weight to every object, and like I could direct the eye everywhere instead of just getting it done. So that's what I mean by drawing less.
Oh my God, you drew every wrinkle on this elastic band of pants.
Yes, I did, Danielle. Yes, I did.
The other thing I would say is I'd go in and check how he's. I'm Jamie's wife. Audrey. I'd go into his office and see what he was working on, and he'd be zoomed in to a hand.
Yep.
In a scene that's in one square.
Yeah.
In a 4 or 5 panel page.
Yeah.
And I admire the detail and the dedication. However, when you zoom out, the amount of detail that the reader is going to appreciate when they're reading the book is different.
Well,
So
Fully back that.
Yeah. Well, that's the other thing. I've started to lock off how much I zoom in.
Good.
In Clip Studio, you can lock it, so it won't let you zoom in farther.
Is Clip Studio vector? Are you working vector?
No.
Okay, so all right.
No, but you can. There are vector layers.
Okay, what I was gonna say is that one thing that I've done with Procreate. So I do for Elephant Town. I do my thumbnails on paper, but then it's the only time I use the iPad to like take photos awkwardly. I take photos of them, bring them in, and then rearrange them on like a template that I have. But I force myself. I want to do the pencils, which my pencils are really tight. I think yours are too, right? Really? Okay. I can't remember.
I go from like shitty pencils to inking.
Oh, okay. Mine are like basically inked. The only thing that changes is I do everything traditionally with ink. So I print them out and like very carefully. All I focus on is the mark making for the inking. So the pencils are basically like an ink layer for me. So that template that I have is set at like such a low resolution. So it forces me like you can't. There's not even space for more pencils there.
Yeah.
That's so helpful.
Yeah. When I did do webcomics, I would do all of my writing in a very tiny notebook to prevent me from writing too much.
Yeah.
So I have to edit and edit and edit. And I didn't do that with this. Like there's a scene where I rendered all of like Summer's stomach muscles cause abs. And it was ridiculous. It looks great, but who cares? Like it's a frame that you read in a second or less. So I'm trying.
Summer?
Yeah, that's Summer.
All right.
It's
a good abs.
When then Carl.
I noticed that you've been working, like playing around with basic animation. Any talks about doing your books in animation form?
Not for like a show, not in that sense, but for fun. Yeah, just to play with it. But nothing that would nothing formal.
I can see. I heard your first book, and I see how it's made and produced. I think we were great as animation.
Yeah, we'll see. We have another agent working on that thing.
Great.
So we'll see.
You mentioned that it's a creator on a book. Do you and Jeremy own it 50-50?
Yeah, good question. Yep.
Nice.
So then, are you in the back of your head thinking about licensing and stuff as when you're doing it?
The first thing we're thinking about is telling a good story.
Yeah.
But the licensing portion is always in the back of the head. Like, it would be great to kind of.
I'm sure nobody wants to see me in the footage.
But I mean that, like with all the stuff being produced, that thought of course in there. So let's see how it goes. Yeah.
How did you transition from doing science fact at NASA to doing science?
I used to work at NASA TV as a web designer stuff. Yeah, for Carl. Carl was the boss.
Nice.
I don't know. I mean, like all the people who work there at NASA are big science nerds anyway. Like half of the technology that we have now wouldn't have been around without Star Wars or Star Trek. Like, you know, the friggin' phones. Well, we don't have flip phones anymore, but like flip phones without the communicator. I think science fiction and science and hard science go hand in hand, and it definitely informs the way I draw things, and it's all fanciful stuff. But like when I'm designing a mechanical thing, I always have that thought of like it doesn't work, but if it could work, maybe this is how the pistons would fit, or the joints would lock into each other, that sort of thing. So, but you know, I mean, we're all sci-fi nerds at NASA.
So were you a contractor or were you government?
Contractor. Yeah.
Easier to walk away.
Yeah. Although it was the best job I've had. Like, it was steady. I actually got to do some of the filming and stuff. Like, there were events at for the 50th anniversary of NASA. We did a bunch of events at the Air and Space Museum.
Cool.
And I got to run camera. Neil deGrasse Tyson did a big talk there, and I was on the camera crew for that. It was a cool job.
Yeah.
I don't know why I quit.
So I have two questions.
Yeah.
One is, so you referred to webcomics in the past tense. Does that mean that Barrel is done?
Oh, good question.
I want to get back to it, but realistically, I haven't had the time to get back to it. But I've had ideas of like maybe making like little zines or something like one-offs in the universe.
That actually leads to the second question about, even if you guys don't have a 3-book contract for this, do you want to keep it working in the universe for this series?
Yeah, I would love to see if anyone would be. So our plan is, after the 3rd book, see who else would be interested in it. Because, like, you know, I enjoy these characters. They're a lot of fun. We're building up to a big reveal at the end of book 3. And it's a good ending spot, but it also could lead to a lot more stuff. And I'd love to see where that could go, because it gets like space opera-y and all that kind of stuff. So I'd love to see what we could do with it. But yeah, our plans are still kind of up in the air.
I feel like webcomics too, you know, it's still this place where we're like, okay, well, how do you even start a webcomic these days? How do you monetize it unless you already have, you know, a readership, or you start on Webtoon, I guess?
Webtoon,
You
yeah.
could easily jump this to Webtoon
Yeah, right.
with now to pause.
But I have no idea what their contracts are like now that they're established. Like, I wonder if it's worth it. I have no
I
idea.
don't know either.
Yeah, it might be.
4 from Topless and the other one, so you might be able to get a better deal from
Yeah,
somebody.
right.
Yeah.
But it would give you content if you can't get a contract.
Yeah. Yeah, I wonder if, I don't know, like, I keep wondering when I finish my project, which should be done in the next 3 or 4 years, would I go back to doing webcomics? It would depend on, like, what the scene looks like at that point. If
You're going to be doing a book tour.
oh yeah, I gotta do a book tour first.
Isn't yours a webcomic book?
What's that?
Isn't yours a webcomic book?
It's so funny because my boyfriend constantly is like, why do you keep calling this a book? It's a webcomic. And
It's a book.
for me, it's a book,
It's a
yeah.
book,
But it is online, yeah. I'm kind of treating the website as like just a place to put the pages until the book is done, just to get people, because I know from the past, like it's totally fine to show people the entire story. They're still gonna read.
They're still
buy the
they're
book.
going to buy it because they want to see it.
Yeah, it's gonna be so much better to read this book specifically and in book form, because there are gonna be so many things where you're like, wait a minute, didn't that happen? You have to go back a few.
Yeah.
It's impossible on the website, or not impossible, but a pain in the ass. Yeah.
And they'll see the way the colors tell the different sides of the story.
Yeah.
It's going to be a great
Especially after you hire that photo.
Okay, nice. Yeah. So I don't know. I wonder if like when this project is done for you and when my project is done, if like there will be a different way. We just have to keep our eyes open for, you know, what's going on in webcomics too, right? Like.
Yeah.
We thought Webtoons would finally be a success.
Yeah,
They came out of
right.
Korea, and, you know,
Well, Webtoons is a success for Webtoons. I don't know if it's a success for the creators, because it feels like there's like the top 1% of Webtoon creators, and then everyone else looks at those people and say, well, I could do it too, and they get sucked in.
But to be sure, that's every
Yeah, that's all of our creative methods. Sports.
Yeah. Actually, sports is a really great way to
Yeah.
point out, because it's very visible, easy to.
I mean, I guess we don't get traumatic brain injury with comics.
Right. Generally.
well, unless you go in with it, and then you make your comment.
Get like
about
wrist
it.
injuries.
But like the stuff they're doing on Webtoon is wild. Like they're updating like 20 pages a week, and they're fully colored and all that.
So apparently, and they've had some people speak here, apparently you can make enough money to start hiring assistants to work with you.
Yeah, we had a pretty popular webtoon person here like a month ago, Snail Lord, for a thing, and it was like very kind of an eye-opening thing.
That's wild.
Oh, that would have been wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty interesting.
I think the thing with that, I would wonder though, is doesn't webtoons basically take all of the derivative rights from the work?
I think Snail Lord was saying that they still maintain the rights to their own stuff.
Yeah,
I think it was.
he was saying that. Yeah.
I just realized I looked at webtoon. I totally forgot. I feel like ours was like they reserved a lot of the right, like, and what do they call first refusal kind of rights. So like, Boo It Sex is probably like Monica and I are waiting for whatever that time period is to wait. Yeah, thank you. You actually know the real words. To go up so that we could maybe possibly get that notebook.
Yeah, because I would like to see it as a book.
Me
and
too.
Actually follow it as a book.
Yeah. We'd also have to hire somebody to rearrange all the pages so it's not a book that's shaped like this.
Read it like.
And neither of us wants to do that.
I think there are a lot of people specializing in that type of work.
I'm hoping. We had to find out how to find those people. I have no idea.
Tom Zoller was talking about it recently on one of his things.
Now I have an idea. I'm going to just email you.
Well, we've been talking for like an hour.
Yeah. Thanks for coming.
Thanks for coming, everybody. We'll do a signing bit now, but can we give our
Thank you for thank you.
I'll bring some books over here. Please try to remember to pay for the book.